Greetings again, my friends. Once again, we did see one of the matches in last week's Analyst hat-trick fall foul of a postponement, but hopefully we're going to be having the perfect 3 from 3 this weekend on Matchweek 23 of the Premier League season. Only Andy and Duncan failed to record a single point last weekend, which meant at least most of us were able to get 50% of our selections correct, and some of us were actually able to go 2 for 2, albeit not quite a 90th minute result altering goal for Brighton, but close enough. So hopefully a continued resurgence for me in 2022. But make sure that you head over to @OptaAnalyst on Twitter to take part in the polls for each of our game and have your voice heard. Luckily for us, there's another Friday night feast as Norwich make that tricky trip to Hertfordshire to take on Watford. Aside at a ground they haven't enjoyed a lot of success against recently, they are winless in their last 8 league trips to Vicarage Road, drawing 2 and losing 5, last winning 3-0 in the Championship all the way back in February of 2015. So, probably not too much of a surprise then that our win probability model is making Watford the favourites to be victorious in this one, even though they have lost each of their last 4 home league games, and we have to go all the way back to between October and December of 2013 for the last time they lost more consecutively on home soil. In fact, they have conceded at least 1 in each of their last 15 Premier League home games. The trouble is, Norwich have only scored 3 away goals this season in the Premier League, the fewest of any side, and that matches the, I think the word is best record in the competition since the 2008-2009 season, when Fulham and West Brom also only scored 3 goals. But Fridays haven't been positive for the Canaries, having won just 3 of their last 29 away league games played on a Friday, drawing 8 and losing 18 in a run stretching back to 1967. But maybe Adam Idah will be able to grab his second Premier League goal for the club after scoring last time out. And the last player from the Republic of Ireland, aged younger than 21, to score in back-to-back Premier League appearances, well, that would be Shane Long, who achieved the feat for Reading back in October of 2007. Don't forget to head over to our Twitter account @OptaAnalyst to have your say in which way you think this match is going to pan out, and if you need a little bit of friendly advice, here's what us analyst contributors believe. Duncan and I both backing Norwich to be victorious in this one. Might be a little bit risky, whilst everybody else is either falling down in favour of the home side or the draw, so plenty to play for. For Saturday's game, we are heading down to West London, to Brentford to be precise, to look at one of the meanest defences in the league at the moment. But Bees fans, I've got some bad news for you. It might be a very tough opening 45 minutes in this one. You see, Wolves have not conceded in any of their last 13 games in the opening 45 minutes, facing 64 shots and 20 on target without letting one in. And perhaps it's that sturdy defence which is giving the visitors the advantage in this one, at least according to our win probability model, with Wolves just being made favourites to be victorious in this one. It's been quite the turn in form for them, as having lost 4 of their first 5 Premier League matches this season, they've only lost just 3 of their last 15. Now, Brentford will be looking to secure the first league double over Wolves since the 2015-2016 season. And good news for you, Brentford fans, don't worry about that little bit of negativity I gave you earlier on, because the side from Wolverhampton have not been enjoying their trips to the capital recently. They have lost 3 of their last 4 Premier League games in London, which is actually as many as they had lost in their previous 18 top-flight trips to the capital. So, maybe the omens are on the Bees side there. And you know, I was mentioning about that mean Wolves defence. Well, Jose Sarr has only conceded 15 goals in his first 20 Premier League starts, the fewest in a goalkeeper's first 20 starts in the competition since Alisson did the same in 2018. He's also saved 24 of the last 25 shots on target he's faced from open play in Premier League matches. But will the Bees be the ones to breach the net in this one and take advantage? Let us know what you think on our Twitter account @OptaAnalyst. And again, our contributors, well, Kev is backing those Bees to be victorious. but that's about as good as it gets. Everybody else is turning the attention to either the draw or the Wolves victory. But what do you think? Make sure your vote is counted by heading over to our Twitter account at Analyst. Looking ahead to the rest of Saturday's fixtures, and even with a change of management, Everton are expected to run out victorious against Aston Villa. To really show how much of a sticky time the Toffees have been in, they took just 5 points in their last 12 Premier League matches, and this is the fewest they've won across a 12-game span since earning 4 points between August and October of 1994. Elsewhere, we are expecting to see victories for both Manchester sides, although Southampton fans might just want to look away from that expected win probability outcome on home soil, as well as a victory predicted for Leeds. But Sunday, oh yeah, I'm rolling the dice. I'm putting Tottenham back in the mix here. Even worse, I'm putting them in the mix in a London derby. But I do think we're going to be seeing them in action against Chelsea on Sunday. But Spurs fans probably don't want to see that, especially having to make the trip across to West London. You see, Tottenham have won just one of their last 31 league matches at Stamford Bridge. But I will say this though. Guess who was manager of Chelsea when Tottenham won that game? I'll give you the year as well, April 2018. That's right, it was Antonio Conte, the current Tottenham manager, who was in the Chelsea dugout on that occasion. And with how things have gone so far this season, it's absolutely no surprise that our win probability model is backing Chelsea to be victorious here because, yes, they have already won 3 times against Spurs in all competitions this season, including twice this month in the EFL Cup semi-final. Now, the last Premier League team to win 4 games against an opponent in a single campaign were Manchester City in 2013-2014 against West Ham. And even Chelsea's potential feat of winning 3 games in the same month against an opponent would not be unique, with Aston Villa the last side to do so against Blackburn in January of 2010. Now, these defeats are even worse for Tottenham when you consider that they have not even scored a goal in their last 5 games against Chelsea in all competitions. So start your clocks on Sunday at 457 minutes, as that was the last time they scored a goal against Chelsea, thanks to Eric Lamela in September of 2020. But Spurs fans, you want a bit of a positive note. You've never gone 6 games in a row without scoring a goal against an opponent. It's not great reading for Antonio Conte here, though, with no manager to have previously taken charge of Chelsea in the Premier League to have subsequently won against them. He'll become the 8th different manager to try and break this 20-game habit, with each of the last 3, Messrs Mourinho, Benitez and Ancelotti, losing on their first attempt. So it's to our Twitter account at Analyst if you want to cast your vote and have your say. A victory for Chelsea in this one will actually make them the first Premier League team to reach 500 points in London derby matches. And if it's anything like what our contributors seem to be believing, well, they'll be doing so in their 272nd such match. I have hope for Spurs though. Not complete hope, but some hope. This run has to end at some point, surely. With the rest of Sunday's fixtures, well, there's some quite comfortable victories being predicted here, including for Arsenal, where they'll be hoping not to concede first against Burnley. No side has conceded the first goal in fewer Premier League games this season than the 4 Arsenal have, but they've lost all of those games in the process. Our win probability model also sees Liverpool and Leicester emerging victorious. Well, thank you very much for joining us once again here on the Analyst Hat Trick. We really do appreciate you joining us along. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, check out our podcast as well, The Reads from the Analyst. We've been diving into things such as the most points in Premier League history, the least points in Premier League history, and this week, for great fun, we've been looking at those players who have scored the most own goals in Premier League history. Those are all available for you across the usual podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, you name them, they're all there. And of course, you can also find it on our website, along with loads of other great data-driven storytelling, all at theanalyst.com. But for now, from all of us here at the Analyst Hat Trick, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.